You ever have that morning routine? You take that handful of vitamins, the ones you think are doing you good, but then, like, noon rolls around and you're
Mhm.
still feeling kind of tired or stiff. Maybe that brain fog just hangs around.
It's this really weird feeling, right? Like you're trying so hard to do the right thing for your health, but I don't know, something still feels off. Like maybe your body's just not quite keeping up despite everything you're doing.
Oh, yeah, that feeling is incredibly common. And there's a really key reason for it, especially once you hit your 60s, that often gets missed. Basically, your body just processes supplements differently than it used to, seriously. And some of those really common vitamins, the ones maybe sitting on your counter right now, they can actually be causing this kind of silent, steady damage to your liver, nerves, even your heart.
Wow, okay. Silent damage. That's concerning.
It is, but here's the flip side, the hopeful part.
Mm.
Once you kind of get what's happening, you can totally sidestep the risky stuff and you can give your body exactly what it actually needs to feel, sharper, steadier, more live. Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. We need to figure this out. We're going to unpack what 4 vitamins that might actually be dangerous after 60, and then switch gears and look at 4 that you should probably definitely consider taking every day to feel stronger, clearer, get that energy back.
Exactly. And you'll really want to stick around for the last one on the good list.
Mm-hmm.
There was this huge European study linked it to a 36% lower risk of death in people over 60.
36%, that's huge.
Well, it really is.
Yeah.
It could be that difference between just sort of aging and actually thriving.
All right, let's dig in. What's the first one we need to be wary of?
Okay, let's start with one that's in so many multivitamins, especially for older folks. Vitamin A.
Vitamin A. But isn't that the eyesight vitamin, immune system, skin, all that good stuff? What's the danger there?
Well, the form matters. We're talking about the preformed vitamin A, like retinol or retinol palmitate, the kind you usually find in supplements. See, the thing is, it's fat soluble.
Meaning it doesn't just wash out if you take too much?
Exactly. Your body stores it, it builds up, accumulates in your liver and your fat tissue, little by little. And here's the kicker for the over 60 crowd. Your liver naturally slows down. It just gets less efficient at clearing out that excess. So that daily dose isn't just passing through, it's potentially stockpiling.
Ah, okay, so it's not like an immediate bad reaction, it's a slow creep. What kind of subtle things might you notice? Things you might just blame on getting older.
Precisely. It's sneaky, maybe a bit more dizziness than usual. Skin feels drier, joints aching a bit more. But underneath, that buildup can be stressing your liver, straining your heart, and ironically, even messing with your vision eventually.
Wow, and you mentioned a study.
Yeah, a big one. European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. They linked excess vitamin A in older adults, the supplement kind, to a 25% higher risk of atrial fibrillation, AFib,
25% higher risk of AFib. That's serious. That's a major stroke risk factor, right?
especially over 65, yeah. It
Yeah.
really makes you pause and rethink, doesn't it? Something so common.
Definitely. It highlights how fundamentally things shift. So what's the smarter way to handle vitamin A? Avoid it completely.
Not necessarily avoid all forms. Your body does need vitamin A, but it prefers beta-carotene. That's the plant-based form. Think carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, even eggs have some.
Yeah.
Your body is smart. It only converts beta-carotene into active vitamin A when it actually needs it. So the risk of overdose is way, way lower.
Okay, makes sense. So the actionable step here is?
Grab your multi. Check the label. If you see retinol or retinol palmitate, look at the dose. If it's over, say, 700 micrograms for women or 900 for men, you might want to seriously consider switching. Look for one using beta-carotene, or even better, just focus on getting it from your food.
Got it. Check the label, look for retinol, check the dose. Okay. Powerful first one. Now what about iron? That's another one you hear about constantly, especially for energy.
Right, iron equals energy, strength. That's the common thinking. And for younger people, particularly women before menopause, that often holds true. But after 60, the game changes. So your
Yeah.
body doesn't have those natural ways to get rid of excess iron anymore, like menstruation, or maybe significant injuries that cause blood loss. Those things slow down or stop.
So if you're taking it in a multi just in case or for general pep, that extra iron doesn't have an exit route.
Pretty much. It doesn't just vanish, it gets stored, mostly liver, heart, pancreas. And when you get an overload, that's when you run into trouble with something called oxidative stress.
Oxidative stress. You described it before as rusting, like from the inside out.
That's a good way to picture it, yeah. It literally damages your cells, accelerates aging, fuels inflammation everywhere, and that increases your risk for some really nasty stuff. Alzheimer's, heart disease, certain cancers even.
And the tricky part is the symptoms are vague, like just feeling old.
Exactly. Fatigue, maybe some memory slips, joint pain, things easily brushed off. You wouldn't necessarily think, oh, maybe it's too much iron. And honestly, doctors don't always check for iron overload unless there's a specific reason to.
Okay, so for our listeners, especially those over 60, what's the practical advice on iron?
If you're taking a multivitamin with iron and you
Yeah.
haven't specifically been told you're anemic or you haven't had recent major blood loss, maybe stop. You probably don't need that extra supplemental iron. And ask your doctor for a couple of tests, a serum ferritin test and a transferrin saturation test. That tells you your iron storage levels.
Ferritin and transferrin saturation. Got it.
And focus on food sources.
Yeah.
Beans, lentils, greens, lean meat. Your body's much better at regulating absorption from food. It only takes what it needs.
Makes sense. Avoid the supplement unless truly needed. Get tested. Focus on food. Okay. Now, calcium. This one feels almost sacred for seniors. Strong bones, right? But you're saying there's a catch here, too.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Calcium is probably the most pushed supplement for older adults. Protect your bones, take calcium. You hear it everywhere. But here's the crucial bit that often gets left out. Taking calcium alone, especially in those big doses found in supplements, might be harming your heart more than it's helping your bones.
Wait, harming the heart? Like, it's for bones. I can just hear people thinking, my doctor told me to take it. How does that work?
It feels like a total paradox, I know. Calcium is for bones. But after 60, a few things happen. 1, your ability to absorb calcium just isn't as good. 2, hormonal changes mean your body isn't as efficient at directing that calcium into the bones. So if you're flooding your system with, say, 1,000 milligrams from a supplement, where does the excess go?
Not to the bones, apparently.
Increasingly, evidence suggests it can end up in places you really don't want it, like your arteries, your joints, other soft tissues. It leads to calcification.
So, hardening of the arteries from trying to help your bones. That's incredibly counterintuitive.
It really is. And studies, including a significant one in the British Medical Journal, have linked high supplemental calcium intake, again, not calcium from food, to an increased risk of heart attacks, strokes, and that artery calcification.
Wow. Plus, doesn't high-dose calcium sometimes cause digestive issues?
Oh, yeah. Bloating, constipation are really common, and it can interfere with absorbing other important minerals like zinc or iron. Plus, if you're taking acid blockers, you might not even be absorbing much of that calcium supplement anyway, so you get all the potential risk, none of the benefit.
Okay, this is huge. So, what's the smarter calcium strategy then?
Food first, always. Leafy greens, kale, bok choy almonds, chia seeds, yogurt, sardines with the bones in. Those are fantastic. Your body handles calcium from food much better. If your doctor does recommend a supplement, it's crucial, absolutely crucial, that it's taken with vitamin D3 and vitamin K2.
D3 and K2, why are they so important?
They're like the traffic cops for calcium. D3 helps you absorb it, and K2 helps steer it into your bones, and importantly helps keep it out of your arteries and soft tissues. They work together.
Okay, so calcium alone is potentially risky, but with D3 and K2, it's safer and more effective.
Much more so, yes. So, again, check your bottles. If your multi has like 500 to 1,000 milligrams of calcium, and you eat a pretty decent diet with some calcium-rich foods, maybe rethink that high dose. Talk to your doc about the D3-K2 combo if you do need to supplement.
Food first, and if supplementing, pair calcium with D3 and K2. Got it. All right, one more on the caution list. This one seems super innocent. Vitamin B6. It's in everything for energy and brain health.
Yeah, B6. Seems totally harmless, right? It's water-soluble, usually found in B complexes, energy drinks, supplements for nerve health. But here's the surprise, especially for older adults. High doses from supplements can actually become toxic to your nerves.
Toxic, but I thought water-soluble meant you just pee out the extra. How can it build up and cause harm?
It's weird. B6 behaves a bit differently than other B vitamins in very high doses. Even though it's water-soluble, it can accumulate in nerve tissue, specifically the sensory nerves, the ones controlling feeling, balance, coordination. When levels get too high, it can become neurotoxic.
Neurotoxic? Meaning it damages the nerves? What would that feel like?
It often starts subtly. Maybe some tingling in your toes or fingers, feeling a little unsteady on your feet, sometimes a weird burning sensation in the hands or feet. Things that are so easy to dismiss, right? Oh, it's just age, or must be my arthritis acting up, or maybe it's my diabetes. But it could actually be B6 toxicity.
And how much is too much? You said high doses.
Well, one study showed that even 50 milligrams a day, taken consistently, was enough to cause nerve issues in some older adults. And that's technically below the official safe upper limit you might see listed.
Wow, only 50 milligram, and some B complexes or stress formulas have way more than that.
Exactly. And you might be taking a multi, plus maybe something for energy, plus maybe something else. It can add up really quickly without you realizing. And seniors seem particularly vulnerable. Slower metabolism, maybe already some nerve sensitivity. And the really tough part, nerve damage heals very, very slowly, if at all.
Okay, that's genuinely scary. But we do need some B6, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you need tiny amounts, like 1.5 milligrams a day for women over 50, 1.7 for men. You get that easily from food, bananas, turkey, chickpeas, tuna. No problem. The danger is in those concentrated high-dose supplements.
So the action here is similar. Check the labels again.
Yep. Look at your multi, any B complex, any nerve, or energy formula. If it lists more than, say, 5 or 10 milligrams of B6 per serving, question it. Unless your doctor has tested your levels and specifically told you to take a higher dose for a particular reason, more is definitely not better here. It could be subtly undermining your balance and sensation.
Okay, that's a really important warning. Less is more with supplemental B6. All right, so we've covered the 4 to be cautious about. Vitamin A, retinol form, iron, calcium alone, and high-dose B6. Now let's flip this. Let's talk about the nutrients that our bodies, especially after 60, are probably crying out for. What's first on the must-have list?
Let's start with a mineral that is just chronically underestimated but incredibly powerful. Magnesium.
Magnesium. Okay, I hear about it for sleep sometimes, maybe muscle cramps, but is it really that important?
Oh, it's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Seriously. Your body quietly begs for it because it's involved in over 300 essential processes. Think stable heart rhythm, healthy blood sugar, muscle function preventing those cramps, nerve signaling, energy production, mood regulation, and yes, definitely sleep quality.
Wow, 300 things. That's a lot. What are the signs we might be low? Again, things we might just brush off as aging.
It's super common to mistake magnesium deficiency for just getting older. Those leg cramps at night are a classic sign. Also, maybe heart palpitations or a racing feeling, trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, feeling unusually anxious or irritable, muscle twitches or weakness.
Okay, yeah, a lot of those sound familiar for many people. Why are older adults more prone to being low?
Couple of reasons. One, our ability to absorb magnesium from food tends to decrease with age. Two, modern farming practices have often left soil depleted, so even healthy foods might have less magnesium than they used to. And three, this is a big one, many common medications actively deplete magnesium. Things like diuretics, some blood pressure meds, acid blockers. They can really strip your levels.
So even if you eat well and don't feel terrible, you could still be running low because of meds.
Absolutely. And when you restore those levels, the difference can be really noticeable. People often report sleeping much deeper, feeling calmer, thinking more clearly, feeling more stable, and less shaky. It's like their body can finally relax and function properly.
Okay, I'm sold on needing it. What's the best way to get it? Are all supplements the same?
Definitely not. The cheapest, most common form is magnesium oxide. You see it everywhere. But it's not well absorbed, and it's famous for causing digestive upset or diarrhea.
Ah, okay, so avoid the oxide form. What should we look for instead?
Look for more bioavailable forms, meaning your body can actually absorb and use them. Things like magnesium glycinate or citrate or malate. They tend to be much gentler and more effective.
Glycinate, citrate, malate. Got it. And how much should someone aim for?
Generally, somewhere around 250 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day is a good target for most seniors. Read the label carefully. It should specify the elemental amount. You can boost intake with foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, almonds, black beans, avocados. But honestly, given the absorption issues and medication effects, a good supplement is often necessary to really hit that optimal level.
Okay, magnesium. Check for glycinate, citrate, or malate. Aim for 250, 400 milligram elemental. Makes sense. What's next on the essential list?
Next up is one that acts more like a hormone than a vitamin, and it's absolutely critical for immunity, mood, and bone health, especially after 60, vitamin D3.
Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. We touched on it with calcium, but sounds like it deserves its own spotlight.
It absolutely does. People think sunshine and bones may be a little immune boost, but it's so much more than that. Think of D3 as like a master switch in your body. It turns on hundreds of genes and functions, controlling everything from how well you fight infections to how your muscles work, how your brain functions, and yes, how you absorb and use calcium.
A master switch. I like that. But don't we get enough from the sun?
That's the common myth. But after 60, your skin just isn't as efficient at making vitamin D from sunlight, significantly less efficient. Plus, think about it, many older adults spend more time indoors, or they're diligent about sunscreen, which is good for skin cancer prevention, but blocks D production. Or you live somewhere with long winters.
Right. So deficiency is pretty common then. What does low D feel like?
Again, it can be subtle at first, just feeling more tired than usual. Maybe your mood is a bit low, especially in winter. Muscles might feel weak or take longer to recover. You might even feel slightly off balance. But chronically low levels are linked to much bigger problems: increased risk of falls and fractures, more respiratory infections, higher rates of depression, even cognitive decline.
You mentioned a study earlier linking D3 to lower death rates, too.
Yeah, that big review in the British Medical Journal. Seniors with healthy D3 levels had up to 50% lower risk of lung infections and, remarkably, a 30% lower risk of death from all causes.
Wow. 30% lower risk of dying from anything just by having good D3 levels.
It's pretty profound, which makes it even more concerning that most standard multivitamins only contain maybe 400 to 800 IU. That's often not nearly enough, especially if you're already low.
So what's a more realistic, beneficial dose for someone over 60?
Most experts now suggest aiming for 1,000 to 2,000 IU per day. Some people might need more, especially if tests show they're deficient, but that's a good general target. And make sure it's vitamin D3 cholecalciferol. That's the form your body uses best, not D2.
D3, 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily. Anything else to know about taking it?
Yeah, because it's fat soluble, take it with a meal that contains some healthy fat like avocado, nuts, olive oil, fish. That helps you absorb it better. Getting your D levels right can be a game changer for energy, mood, and staying healthy.
Okay, magnesium and vitamin D3, crucial. What's the third essential nutrient we need?
Let's talk about vitamin B12. This one is your nervous system's absolute best friend.
B12. I know it's important for energy, maybe preventing anemia.
Yep, it does. Both those things helps make red blood cells, keeps the energy cycle going, but it's also fundamentally crucial for keeping your brain sharp, your reflexes quick, and your balance steady. It maintains the health of your nerve sheaths. But here's the challenge as we age. Stomach acid production tends to decline.
Less stomach acid. How does that affect B12?
You need good stomach acid to basically pry B12 away from the protein it's attached to in food. Less acid means you absorb less B12 from your diet, even if you're eating B12-rich foods like meat, fish, eggs. So many seniors can slowly, quietly become deficient without even realizing it.
And the symptoms, again, probably mimic just getting older.
You nailed it. Fatigue that just won't quit. Numbness or tingling, especially in hands or feet. Memory fog, trouble concentrating. Sometimes mood swings, feeling down, even unsteadiness when walking. It gets misdiagnosed all the time as just aging, or maybe arthritis, or even dementia in severe cases, but often it's a fixable B12 deficiency.
That's hopeful that it's fixable. Is there a risk of taking too much B12?
Not really. Like other B vitamins, it's water soluble. Your body just gets rid of what it doesn't need. So the risk of toxicity is extremely low, which is good news.
Okay, so how much should seniors aim for, and what's the best way to take it?
For maintaining good levels, aiming for somewhere between 500 and 1,000 micrograms mcg, not milligram per day, is often recommended. If you're deficient, your doctor might suggest higher doses or even injections for a while. Look for the forms methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin.
Methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin.
Okay. In sublingual forms, the little tablets that dissolve under your tongue can be really effective, bypassing potential absorption issues in the stomach. Definitely worth asking your doctor for a blood test to check your B12 levels if you have any of those symptoms. Getting B12 right can make a huge difference in energy and clarity.
Okay, good advice. Magnesium, D3, B12. That brings us to the final, potentially most impactful nutrient on your list, the one with the big longevity stat.
Yes, the grand finale. It's not technically a vitamin, but it's absolutely essential, especially after 60, for protecting your heart, your brain, basically your whole body. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA.
Omega-3s, fish oil, right?
Good for the heart. Good for the heart is an understatement.
Yeah.
They are fundamental for heart health, but also for brain structure. Your brain is largely made of fat, especially DHA. They protect joints, calm inflammation, keep cell membranes fluid so cells can communicate properly. They're just vital.
And this is the one linked to that incredible statistic, the 36% lower risk of death?
That's the one. That massive European study, over 42,000 people aged 60 plus. Those with higher blood levels of omega-3s had a 36% lower risk of dying from any cause during the study period.
36% lower risk of death from anything. That's just staggering for one nutrient class.
It really is. And another big study, this one in Circulation, found omega-3s could cut the risk of fatal heart attacks in seniors by up to 45%. The protective effects are just incredibly strong and consistent in the research. Yet, here's the problem. Most older adults simply don't get enough. Estimates are that over 2/3 are deficient.
Why is deficiency so common?
Primarily diet. The best sources of EPA and DHA are Fatty, cold water fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring. And most people just don't eat those several times a week.
Right. So diet alone might not cut it for optimal levels. What's the recommendation?
Try to get fatty fish in a couple times a week, definitely. But to reach those levels shown to be really protective for heart and brain health, most seniors likely need a supplement. You want to look for high-quality fish oil or algae oil if you're vegan that provides at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per day.
1,000 milligrams combined EPA and DHA. That's the key number.
That's a good general target. Some people, especially with existing heart concerns or high inflammation, might benefit from up to 2,000 milligrams, but that's best discussed with a doctor. And quality matters. Look for brands that test for purity, ensuring they're free from heavy metals like mercury, and ideally choose one in the triglyceride form, which tends to be better absorbed than the ethyl ester form.
Triglyceride form for better absorption. Good tip. Any advice on taking it? That fishy aftertaste.
Yeah, taking it with the food usually helps minimize any fishy burps. And storing it in the fridge can sometimes help too. But the benefits for your heart, brain, and overall longevity are just too significant to ignore.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot. 4 vitamins to be cautious with after 60A, retinol, iron, calcium alone, high B6, and 4 essentials to focus on magnesium, vitamin D3, vitamin B12, and omega-3s, EPADH.
Exactly. 8 really important truths that make a huge difference in how you feel day to day and your long-term health.
Yes. And the great thing is, like you said, this isn't about some massive, complicated overhaul. It's really about awareness, about being a bit more curious, right?
Totally. It's about understanding your body changes.
Yeah.
And making slightly smarter choices based on that.
Yeah.
Choosing smarter, not just harder, or taking more just because.
So maybe the challenge for everyone listening is simple. Go look at your supplement bottles, like actually turn them around, read that fine print, see what forms are in there, see what the doses are. Does anything we talked about today ring a bell?
Mm-hmm. And if it does, talk to your doctor. Ask questions. Is this form right for me now? Are these doses appropriate? Should I get my levels tested? You deserve those answers.
Yeah. It really just comes down to knowing your own body a little bit better today than you did yesterday and taking charge, right?
It's exactly it. Empowering yourself with that knowledge to really thrive.